Hi, I'm Nam. Right now, I'm on a short trip outside the city with a few close friends, just a couple of days away from work, traffic, and deadlines. And somewhere between the drives, the food stops, and the late night conversations, we ended up talking about something that's been on my mind for a while. What does success actually mean for people my age in Vietnam today? I'm 30. I have a girlfriend, but we're not married yet. I still live in a rented apartment. If you'd asked our grandparents' generation, that sentence alone would sound like a life going wrong. But sitting around with friends who are all roughly in the same boat, I realized this isn't just my story. It's becoming the norm for a whole generation here. For most of Vietnam's modern history, success had a pretty fixed formula. Get a stable job, buy land or a house as early as possible, get married in your mid-20s, have kids soon after, and build a family home your parents can be proud of. That formula worked for a long time, back when housing was affordable and a single income could realistically support a young family. By that old formula, most of us on this trip should already feel behind. None of us own property yet. Only one of my friends here is married. A decade ago, relatives would have started asking uncomfortable questions at every family gathering. But something has shifted, and it's not just the people I'm traveling with. Across Vietnam, especially in cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, more people in their late 20s and 30s are quietly rewriting what a good life looks like. Here's what changed. Housing prices in major Vietnamese cities have grown far faster than average salaries over the last decade. Buying property in your 20s is simply out of reach for a lot of young professionals now, even ones with stable jobs. So instead of measuring ourselves against, do you own a house yet? A lot of us have quietly changed the question to, are you building a life you actually want? One of my friends on this trip is a good example. He works in design, makes a decent salary, but turned down a higher paying job last year because it meant losing his weekends. He told me, half joking, I'd rather be a little poorer and actually see my friends. A few years ago, that kind of decision would have sounded lazy or irresponsible to older relatives. Now, it's just common sense to a lot of us. For me personally, success means prioritizing things that don't show up on a title deed. I have a job I don't dread on Monday mornings. I have enough left over each month to take trips like this one, help my parents when they need it, and still enjoy small things. Coffee with my girlfriend, a new lens for my camera. Renting isn't a failure to me anymore. It's flexibility. I can move closer to work or somewhere cheaper without being tied to a 20-year mortgage. Marriage is a similar story. My girlfriend and I have been together for a while, and yes, my mother asks about wedding plans more than I'd like. But we've agreed we're not rushing it just to satisfy a timeline that isn't ours. We want to be financially steady, and honestly, we just want to be sure. Taking our time doesn't mean less commitment. If anything, it means taking the decision more seriously than it's just what you do at this age. Of course, this shift comes with real tension. Vietnamese culture is still built around family expectations, respect for parents, pressure to follow tradition, the weight of what relatives will think at Tet dinner. I still feel that pressure, and honestly, I don't want it to completely disappear, because family still matters enormously to me. It's less about rejecting tradition, and more about finding a version of it that still fits how the world actually works today. So when people ask if I feel behind, no house, no wife, still renting at 30, I've stopped feeling like I need to defend myself. Looking around at my friends on this trip, I don't think we're rejecting our parents' values. We're adding new ones next to them. Mental health, personal freedom, a partnership built on readiness instead of a deadline, and success measured by how you actually feel living your life, not just by what you can show for it. Maybe I'll own a house one day. Maybe my girlfriend and I will get married next year, or maybe in 3. But for the first time, that timeline is something my generation gets to write for ourselves. And honestly, sitting here with good friends on a random weekday, far from the city noise, it already feels like a life worth having. Thanks for watching. If this gave you a different perspective on what life actually looks like for young people in Vietnam today, a like and a subscribe would mean a lot. See you in the next video.